the most underrated era in Black history. When we think about Black history, familiar images immediately surface: the marches led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks quietly defying segregation, the powerful Harlem Renaissance of the 1920s, and the courageous voices of the Civil Rights Movement. But between these famous chapters lies a profound story, often overlooked. It's the story of an era from 1865 to the early 20th century, a hidden renaissance, a time when Black Americans, newly freed from bondage, boldly redefined freedom on their own terms. This period, Reconstruction, and the decades after, is perhaps the most underrated era in Black history, an era full of astonishing accomplishments and remarkable resilience. Today, we uncover this hidden renaissance. Freedom reimagined. Spring 1865. The Civil War ends. 4 million Black men, women, and children emerge from slavery into freedom. Yet freedom alone did not guarantee survival. Immediately, Black communities sprang into action. Families separated by slavery placed ads in newspapers seeking lost relatives. Formerly enslaved people built thousands of schools, determined to educate their children. Literacy rates soared dramatically within a decade. Reconstruction governments granted Black men voting rights. For the first time, Black Americans participated widely in democracy. More than 2,000 Black leaders rose to public office: senators, congressmen, judges, sheriffs. Men like Hiram Revels and Robert Smalls reshaped politics. Yet, progress inspired brutal backlash. White supremacists formed violent groups like the Ku Klux Klan, burning schools and churches and terrorizing Black communities. Reconstruction ended in 1877, with federal troops leaving the South, but not before demonstrating the incredible potential of Black political leadership. Independent Black towns. With the end of Reconstruction, many Black Americans turned inward, founding independent towns where they could thrive economically and socially. Towns like Mount Pi, Mississippi, founded by formerly enslaved Isaiah Montgomery, quickly flourished with Black-owned businesses, schools, and hospitals. In Kansas, Nicodemus became a beacon for Black families seeking freedom and land ownership in the West. Most famously, Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, known as Black Wall Street, symbolized prosperity and pride, hosting thriving businesses, theaters, and professional offices. But success again ignited violence. The devastating Tulsa Massacre of 1921 destroyed Greenwood, leaving hundreds dead and thousands displaced. Yet even tragedy couldn't erase Greenwood's legacy of strength and self-sufficiency. Pan-African Connection Sismonen, a global awareness was rising among Black intellectuals. Pan-Africanism emerged, a movement recognizing the shared struggles of people of African descent worldwide. Leaders like Edward Blyden, Martin Delany, and later Du Bois envisioned unity among Black communities in America, Africa, and the Caribbean. In 1900, the first Pan-African Conference convened in London, marking a critical step toward global Black solidarity. This global outlook reminded Black Americans they were not alone, connecting their struggle with broader fights against colonialism and oppression worldwide. The intellectual renaissance and Black women's leadership back in America, another revolution unfolded, led largely by Black women. The Black Women's Club movement emerged, empowering women as educators, advocates, and community leaders. In 1896, the National Association of Colored Women formed, with the motto, "Lifting as we climb." Leaders like Mary Church Terrell, Frances Harper, and Ida B. N. Wells fiercely advocated for education, civil rights, suffrage, and an end to violence against Black communities. Black newspapers thrived. Institutions like Howard, Fisk, Tuskegee, and Spelman nurtured generations of intellectuals, artists, and activists, laying the foundation for future civil rights movements. Why this era remains under a tedge of its significance? Why is this period overlooked? For generations, history textbooks promoted distorted narratives, portraying Reconstruction as a misguided failure and Black leaders as unfit for governance. Propaganda, such as the infamous 1915 film, The Birth of a Nation, further entrenched harmful stereotypes. Yet, recent scholarship is reclaiming the truth. Reconstruction and the era that followed were groundbreaking periods of multiracial democracy, extraordinary resilience, and powerful innovation. Recognizing this hidden renaissance corrects the record, acknowledging the strength of a people who refused to surrender their dignity. Legacy and lessons. What lessons does this underrated era teach us? First, progress is never inevitable. It requires courageous effort. Every step forward during Reconstruction and beyond was won through organizing, unity, and relentless activism. Second, backlash often follows progress. History reveals this cycle, but also the power to rebuild even after devastating setbacks. Finally, freedom is never a static achievement. It's an ongoing pursuit that must be continually fought for and expanded. Today's struggles for equality against voter suppression, economic injustice, or systemic racism are direct descendants of the activism born during this hidden renaissance. By remembering this era, we honor those who came before us, drawing inspiration to carry their legacy forward. This was the most underrated era in Black history. It was an era defined not just by suffering, but by astounding creativity, innovation, resilience, and hope. It's a story that reminds us that freedom is not passively given, it's courageously built, fought for, and reclaimed, generation after generation. This hidden renaissance deserves recognition not only as Black history, but as essential American history. Thank you for joining us to uncover it.